Hey guys, welcome back to Internet Girls.
Welcome back. We are freezing, or I don't know, but I can only speak for myself. I am
I'm not.
freezing. You're
It's
not?
like mid 60s here this week.
Oh my gosh. I let me see what the temperature is. I'm living on a lake right now. It's beautiful, like amazing experience. I'm like loving it, but let's see. Concord,
It's been
Massachusetts.
so nice here. The girls across the street were literally at the beach this last weekend in their little swimsuits running around because it was like 70 degrees. Like,
No way.
hello, climate change.
Oh my gosh. It is 26 degrees right now where I'm at.
Ooh.
Yeah, feels like 14.
But I would
It
just like
was,
to remind you that you could live anywhere.
that's true. That is true. It it was snowing a little bit, but and I honestly I'm not mad at it. It's like cozy. Like
Oh,
I'm liking it. I'm looking at the water, which is freezing. I got to witness like the coolest phenomenon actually, because Matt and I are living in like this magical house, and you guys should see my house right now. Like I will never live in a. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to limit
don't say
myself
that.
like
Don't
that.
say that.
But yeah, but this is the coolest place I've lived thus far in my life.
Even
And
over Santa Barbara?
yes, like
Whoa.
the coolest house situation. Even though our Santa Barbara house was really cool too, this is
Hmm.
a little bit cooler because we're on this like lake or it's a pond. And actually, this town that we're living in, it's called Concord, Massachusetts, which I didn't know this, but apparently this town is like very fancy, affluent town, but I had no
Ooh.
idea. When Matt and I signed the lease out here, we thought that it was just like a town in the middle of nowhere that was just really like naturey. Like,
Yeah.
but there's a tons of nature out here, so we just thought it was. And as we were telling people that this is where we were moving, everyone was like, "What? Oh, wow!" And we were like, "Oh, we just we had no idea, no
I
clue."
love when that happens.
No, right? Turns out this is like where Little Women, the author of Little Women, it was written and based out of here.
No
Like the little,
way.
yeah, the Little Women's house is here, and
Oh
also
my
Walt
God.
Walt Whitman's house was out here too.
Massachusetts is just so magical.
It really is. And Thoreau, there's a pond out here called Walden Pond, and he like wrote sonnets about it, which is like 10 minutes from here. I'm on White Pond. That's like where Matt and I
Oh,
are living, which
prestigious. Very
prestigious.
British.
But it freezes over, and people go like ice skating and stuff on it.
Ah!
And the woman who owns this house like left me ice skates.
Oh my God. Are you
Yeah,
kidding? That's so freaking precious.
I'm so excited, and they're my size too.
Wow. And you have like
Yeah.
tiny feet.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm like stoked. But obviously I'm not going out until it like they were like, don't be the first people out there. And we're
Yeah,
like,
that makes
trust me,
sense.
we're from Florida. We will not. We'll be people will have to be out there for a couple of days, like, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh my God, that's magical. I have a thing about frozen lakes because I only saw my first frozen lake when John took me to Chicago in like end of February a couple years ago. And the level of shook that I felt seeing my first frozen lake, I was like, that whole thing is just frozen. You can walk on it. Are you kidding? I touched it. I was like creeping down there, like, boop. Like, so his whole family was making fun of me because they were like, okay, like, we have so many of those. And I was like, look, I'm from California. Okay. Like, we don't have those.
Yeah, imagine me. I'm from Florida here, and I was sitting on the bed watching it go from like water to solid form, and I made a TikTok about it. It was the craziest thing.
Oh, it's so
Like
cool.
it looks like I don't even know how to describe it. It almost looks like a wave is washing over, and then it like forms like into solid. It like goes like
What?
this, and then it like forms solid, like like
I didn't know you could just watch that.
me neither. And then I was
New
sitting
life
there.
goal. Oh
It was like one of the most magical things I've seen. People were
my
commenting on it like this looks like some Elsa shit.
I need to go watch that immediately. Oh my God. That is so cool. Have you seen the one chick who ice skates on lakes? And she's like really, really, really good. And She just did a video about how she like checks the level of the ice if she can like just skate or like do jumps and stuff.
No. Okay, I need to get
She has
on
this
her
whole
TikTok.
device that like she twists down into the ice and it tells you how deep it is. And then she'll be
Oh.
like, "Oh, this one's super deep," or like, "We're going to get the fuck off this ice."
Oh, okay. No, maybe I should get one of these devices.
Maybe. For your little 3-month stint. I love it.
I
That
know.
is
Are they
so cool.
I love it. This is just like magical. I'm so excited for these 3 months. Although I am finding myself like not wanting to do anything. I just want to be here in this like magical cottage looking at my frozen lake, like just chilling and sitting by the fire. Like that's all I want to do. I
Yes.
do,
Embrace
but
it.
I know, but people keep like asking me to do stuff and like, and I also want to invest in like friendships and stuff this year. So I'm like having a
Mm.
little bit of push and pull with that
That could
internally.
start in February.
Right?
January's
Jan
for what they say in Norway, hygge, hygge. Do you know that word?
No, I don't, but I love this. I love stuff like this. So what
It's
does
just
that
like
mean?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like HYGGE, I think. And it's the process of just making everything super cozy in the winter and just like staying in and enjoying the comfort because in like Norway and like all those Nordic countries, it's like dark 24 hours a day and you like don't see the sun. So they just make everything like super cozy. And these winter months are just for like settling into that and like embracing the coziness. And that's what you need to do.
100%. That is exactly what I want to do. I just want to get this place like set up perfectly. I want to just sit by the fire. Like, I just want to drink some like bone broth every day. You know what I
Goals.
mean?
The way that I would be there in a freaking heartbeat if I could come to you.
Oh my gosh, Hannah. I wish you could. Like,
I'm so sad.
imagine.
If
I know.
she was here, we would get on a plane together and come see you. And that
Oh
would be
my
so fun.
gosh.
Can you imagine like a little bundled baby just like sleeping by the fire? Like,
Oh my gosh. She would love it.
she would love it. Oh, I'm so happy for you though.
No. It's gonna be a great 3 months for sure. Great way to start the year, which I still need to like really sit down and do my like vision board stuff. Have you
Mm,
done any of that?
no. I really
No.
never do though. I do it in my head. I don't
Yeah.
really do it like put it, pen to paper, but I think
Well,
a lot.
I think you know what would be fun for us to do together, like, is maybe just create like a Pinterest board, a vision Pinterest board.
Yeah, I love that. I do a lot of pinning
Yeah,
for the
because that's
vision
just
board.
so easy, you know? But we could create one for internet girls, you know?
I love
That's just
it.
like our future goals, you know?
I'm on it. Let's do it. That
Yeah,
sounds so
yeah.
fun. Oh, yeah, I can't believe it's already like basically mid-January and that's crazy.
No,
I
it's
had like
not.
I know. I had like a little meltdown last night. I'm going to be honest. I was just in like the grumpiest mood and John was trying to talk to me about the bathroom renovation and now he wants to renovate the kitchen and I just like lost it and I was like, you don't understand, John. Like I don't have the brain capacity like I usually do. Like I can barely respond to a text message. Like that's how little my brain is working right now. And to like sit here and try to figure out what shower valves we need to get and how to decorate the bathroom and then how should we redo our kitchen and like all this, I was just like, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. And then he was like, what's really going on? Like my little therapist, John. And I was like, I'm so fucking tired of being pregnant. Like I'm in pain all the time. I can barely eat anymore. Like I had 2 pieces of little pita bread last night, like the little cut, stuffed. Like can no longer eat.
Really? Why? I
Heartburn
didn't.
all the time. Because she's taking up all that room. She's like
Oh,
shoving my stomach up so I have no more room.
so is that a thing once you get like towards the very end, like you're not really able to eat that much?
That's what I've heard, which
Oh,
is funny because
I
I thought it was going to be the opposite where I'd be like starving all the time, but that was second trimester. We're in
The
the rear
golden
view.
age. Yeah, I feel like the golden age of pregnancy is the second
It
trimester.
really is. I was like, I feel like myself again. I'm so happy, like a little uncomfortable, sure, but for the most part, just thriving. And now we're
Hmm.
here, and I'm like, I'm in pain all the time. I always have heartburn. Like, I just consume Tums. That is my meal. Even like, like water tastes acidic. I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh.
what?
You should you should make a TikTok or a reel where you're like my pregnancy meal and you have like Tums on a packet of Tums where a fork and a knife and you're
Yes. I've been thinking about that actually because I'm like, this is all I can eat. Like, like fills me up. Like,
should be
woo.
like third trimester diet.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy too is you're like eating so much less in the third trimester and you still are gaining a pound a week.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Stress.
It's the baby
Anyway.
probably though.
Yeah, it's the baby. But yeah, so I like had a meltdown with John and I was like, I hate this. He was like, I'm working really hard too. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, you are not allowed to say that.
He's like, I've been working so hard to get the house ready for her. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I've been working hard on her.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
God. Anyway, I woke up this morning with like a smidge more energy and I was like, whoa, they heard me. The baby gods have heard me. They heard me bitching and complaining. And they were like, give her a day off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it is not for the faint of heart, my friend.
Yeah. I wonder if you're gonna miss it though after you give birth.
I'll
What do you
probably
think?
miss the attention. I love the attention. I love that everything's about me. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, don't lift that. No, I'll get it. Just sit." Like I love that. I love people embracing me being lazy. That's like my favorite part of being pregnant.
I was like, what has to be an amazing part about being pregnant is like no one can ever get mad at a pregnant person. It's like the best excuse for anything. Like
Yeah.
zero expectations of anyone pregnant. And I'm not even saying like that for you. Like I'm just like there's a lot of like there's a podcast I listen to, The Toast, like she's pregnant on there and she's constantly talking about things she has to cancel or things, and I don't think like you're finding yourself in that, but I'm just saying with her, like, it's like no one is even giving anyone any flack for stuff like that at all because, like, it's just you have the best reason, like, the best excuse, like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, like.
No, but I'm not even going as so far as to like plan things. I'm just like I know I can't do anything. So I will be here and I have to take a nap every day and that's the thing. I like want to enjoy that more. That like nobody like gives you a hard time for that stuff, but the thing is it's literally so true that I like can't do anything. That I like can't even sit here and like be lazy and enjoy it. I'm just like, no, but I'm miserable. Like anyway. It's like when you're sick and you're like, I want to enjoy this like time off, but you also feel like shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I will
Yeah.
miss that. I want that to continue into postpartum. I want John to baby me. I want people to be like, no, no, sit down. I got it. Like that is the best.
Well, I think that will continue a little bit after you give birth, up until probably the 6 month mark.
I hope so.
Probably, I feel like when that'll go away for
I
other
plan on
people.
babying myself postpartum. Like I'm not gonna be that one of those like, oh, week 3, I'm back in the gym. Like, no. No, no, no. We're gonna do higgy. Higgy. We're gonna be
Higgy.
cozy.
You're like, that's gonna be the whole Q1 is Huggy at least. Maybe Q2. The whole year.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a
Rest of the
Huggy
year,
year.
doing whatever the fuck I want and keeping a child alive.
Yeah.
It's going down in the club over here.
Claire Lukanoff.
Claire Blukanoff, not the place you guys want to be right now. Trust me. A lot of tears, a lot of pain, a lot of bitching and moaning. Well, let's jump into our episode for today. I'm so excited about this one because it is kind of a listener episode. We asked you guys to write in and share your stories and ask us, hey, am I the asshole here? And then we're going to judge you. So that's fun for us.
Why haven't we done this sooner?
I know. We love judging people. Although I have a feeling we're going to take all of your sides because I just feel like if you did something, you probably had a reason.
Yeah.
Wait, I just got a text from John. He said it's pronounced Haiga.
Oh.
He's always listening.
He's cringing in the other room, like, stop saying it wrong.
I was like, Heige. All right, Haiga. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to read our first submission, Tori?
Yeah.
Pick your favorite.
Am I the asshole? I'm 29 and one of my closest friends is getting married in 2 months. She asked me to be a bridesmaid and I said yes, but things have been ... overwhelming. She's super detail oriented, which I respect, but she's also being incredibly demanding. She expects weekly meetings, constant updates on the group chat, and for us to spend a lot of money on dresses, travel, and the bachelorette trip. I recently told her that while I love her and want to support her, I can't keep up with all the demands financially. I almost said diamonds, or time-wise. She got upset and said I'm being selfish and that if you really cared about me, you'd make it work. I'm torn because I don't want to let her down, but this is taking a huge toll on me. Am I the asshole for setting boundaries as a bridesmaid?
I have so many strong feelings about this, and I'm curious if you do too. But when I was a bride, I had a bridal party, and I like made it my freaking life mission to make sure that this was not going to be too financially stressful for any of my girls, because I thought it was so nice that they would like volunteer their time already to like stand next to me on my wedding day and like go to a bachelorette party and all this stuff. And then to like demand that they spend thousands on you too, just like honestly gives me the ick.
I feel a few ways about this. I agree. I need to know a little bit more details because like it is whenever you agree to be a bridesmaid, you are signing up to buy a dress and go to the bachelorette party and go to the wedding. So if you're saying travel, then that means that maybe you probably don't live where the bride lives. So you're probably going to have to travel for the wedding, or maybe it's a destination wedding and all of that. And I think as the bride, the dress shouldn't cost more than like $250 max.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think that is anything over that is overkill. Like that's too much. There's too many amazing, beautiful dresses that are bridesmaids dresses. Like Show Me Your Muumuu, all their dresses are around $200. Like
a Zazie, they're like $100 or less.
Yeah. And those are all like everyone can order them, match. Like I personally think the dress shouldn't cost any more than that. Bachelorette trip, like I mean, like, I mean, it depends on what you want to do. But what I do think, if you're a bride and let's say you do want to do something like really fun or special for your bachelorette trip, that's fine. But you should communicate that to your bridesmaids before you ask them and let them know, hey, like, this is what I'm doing for my bachelorette trip. And I know it's a lot. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, either one, if you can't come, that's fine. Or like, I understand if you don't want to be a bridesmaid because that's going to be your, because I want all my bridesmaids there. Or like I said, you're okay with them not coming to the trip if they just will still be a bridesmaid, but come to the wedding, you know?
Or make it more of a democracy. Like talk to your bridesmaids, put out a poll, be like, we could do Cabo and it'll be around this much, or we could do Santa Fe and it'll be around this much, or we could do Miami and it'll be around, like, I feel like just because you're the bride and like this is your bachelorette party, it doesn't mean it's still not like a big girls trip and you can't like communicate with your girls and like find something that's going to work for everyone, because like if they're in your bridal party, you should be caring about them the same that they're caring about you, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I wanted to do Tulum for my bachelorette party, but a lot of girls didn't want to do that. So we didn't do that because like it wasn't like what majority wanted to do, and that's fine. And I had no qualms about changing it because at the end of the day, it's not about like the thing that you're doing. It's about like the people who you're surrounding yourself with. That's like what's most important. Just like your wedding, it's not about like where it is and the dress and the this and the that. It's
Hmm.
about like getting married and marrying your person. And it's the same thing
Yeah.
with your bridesmaids. So,
And I feel like I've heard, weddings seem to give the bride an excuse to be like a bridezilla and to be like so demanding. And I don't think that's a good excuse. Like, I get that you want what you want, but like, if you're going to be a bridezilla about it, like, are those even your friends? You know, like like I've seen
yeah.
so many brides be like, "Well, I'm hiring like hair and makeup. You all have to get it done. It's $250 each." And it's like, if you're going to demand that we get our hair and makeup done, then you have to pay for it because it should be a choice. Like I gave all of my girls a choice, and honestly, the girls who didn't do hair and makeup looked better. Like they did such a
Yeah.
good job, like I trusted them.
100%. No, I agree. That should never be a demand. That should always be a choice. Because also, like, some people are particular about how they do their own
Yeah.
stuff.
But it's
But,
crazy how many times I see that it's like a demand, like people talking about it on TikTok or Reddit or whatever,
oh,
and
yeah.
they're like this. I'm just like, I just think it's such bad taste to be like a bridezilla to your best friends who are offering up their time to like be standing next to you, you
Yeah.
know?
But I do think this particular thing that's written in, nothing that she has said is like anything super specific of her. I'm not seeing any like hard evidence of huge bridezilla-ness. You know what I mean? The only
It's
thing
more
that
giving
is,
type A.
yeah, like the only thing that's raising a little bit of a red flag is the weekly meetings. No. If that were me, I would have a come to Jesus meeting with her and be like, "Hey, I love you so much, but send me an email with updates or a text, and I will get to them when I
Mhm.
get to them. I love you so much and do all the things, but the weekly meetings, like, it's a little bit much, but that does not mean that I'm viewing this of any less most importance to me. But I understand
Yeah.
that you just want to be on top of it, and I love that about you,
But
you
also
know?
she says like she wants us to spend a lot of money on dresses, travel, and bachelorette. And I just feel like we don't know what a lot is necessarily
Hmm.
because yeah, you do expect that it's gonna like cost some money. But for her to like try to talk to the bride about it and then the bride be like, well, if you really cared about me, you'd make it work, I think is just it's super shady. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but if you cared about me, you would understand why I'm coming to you about this?
No, 100%. So what do you think is okay, so like I said, I think anything over $250 on a bridesmaid's dress is too much,
Yeah.
personally. And then as far as like bachelorette trips, how much do you think is too much?
I mean, honestly, I would poll the bridesmaids and see what they're comfortable spending, but
Yeah.
probably between 1,000 and like $1,500
Yeah.
is what I think. And like I just went on a bachelorette trip this year and it was about $1,500, like flights, food, everything. And we still did like nice stuff and it did feel like a lot because it was also kind of a destination wedding, so we had to pay for that too. And I wasn't even a bridesmaid. That's the thing. But yeah, I think that's a good amount of money.
Yeah, I agree. If you approached her with love and she came at you with that, I would also like getting married is a very stressful time in someone's life, so I would weigh the pros and cons of this friendship a little bit. And if she said, "Oh, you're being selfish and blah blah blah," like take that into account
Mm,
on like this being very stressful time for her, but also take into account on if this is someone who are there other problems and is this like her, you know?
exactly. Like, does she really care about you, or is she doing all this for her and for her image and for her wedding? And just, it sounds a lot more selfish to me to be the bride making all these demands and not like taking into consideration like your friends, your best friends, like time and finances.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So we don't think you're the asshole.
I don't think you're the asshole.
Next one. Let me do this really long one that was sent in, but I think it's like good information. So, when I was 20, I was dating a guy that I had gotten to know through mutual friends. Let's call him Mario. I thought this was going to be a good relationship because he seemed so sweet when we were friends. I had just gotten out of another relationship and I was heartbroken. So, looking back, it was more of a rebound, but I had held out hope it would be more. Fast forward a few months, and I noticed that every time certain commercials would come on, he would make comments about how the girls' bodies looked and how I should strive for that body type. You mainly focused
Gross.
on their butts versus my flat butt. I was extremely thin and did not have a lot of curves, so this was not news to him. He knew what I looked like when he asked me out. This continued throughout the whole relationship, and even his mom made comments about how he must really like me because all his previous girlfriends had big butts, and that's Mario's type. This did great things for my self esteem. Gross. Along with this, Mario started taking me out with his friends and giving me alcohol, even though I didn't drink. He then proceeded to also ask us about doing certain sexual things that I was not comfortable with and had not done before. And when I told him this, he insisted that he would show me how to do them and it would be fine for us to just experiment. I gave in and just went along with it because I thought that he loved me and wouldn't do anything to hurt me. So here we are, over a year in, and Mario is talking marriage, and I'm not sure if that's what I want. My friends don't particularly like him. I'm realizing I'm not really liking this guy, but I feel stuck because he has convinced me that I won't do better. Okay, abusive. He has also had me so paranoid and isolated from a lot of my friends, so even more reason to stay with him. Since I was friends with a lot of guys I had known growing up, and he was convinced I would cheat on him like his previous girlfriends had. I was guilt tripped whenever he spoke to any of them. Whenever I spoke to any of them. He would also introduce me to his male friends and then get upset when we got along. Okay. It always ended up in him being upset and me having to apologize to get him to not be mad at me anymore. But at this point of the relationship, he's talking kids and marriage and how it won't work when we get married, or I won't work when we get married, and I will have to move away from where I'm from to be closer to his family. I'm feeling so deep into this that I don't feel like I can get out of this relationship. Oh, this is giving abusive. Now, here is where I may be the asshole. Remember that previous relationship where I mentioned that I'd gotten out of when I started dating this guy? Let's call that guy Nick. He was someone I was best friends with and had barely dated, but people meddled and we ended up breaking up and not talking anymore, more because of the meddling, not because of lack of feelings on either part. We had a lot of mutual friends, so we didn't exactly disappear from each other's lives. Through this time, he was dating someone else and she ended up leaving him for someone else, and he wasn't doing so great. I wanted a friend desperately, so we gravitated towards each other. So during the last 2 months of my relationship with Mario, we reconnected. We said up front we just wanted to be friends, but it was pretty evident that we fell back into the same old pattern. We would text each other and talk to each other if we saw each other, and all felt so easy to hide. I hid it all from Mario. Sorry, this is long, you guys. Changed Nick's name in my phone and lied when he asked if I ever spoke to Nick. Things never got physical with Nick and I, but we spoke every day and I confided in him everything that was going on in my relationship with Mario. So now I'm speaking to my ex in secret while still in this relationship. And since my family is super conservative, they're already talking about a wedding because he has let them know that's the plan. So I'm feeling the countdown to the proposal and just getting more and more anxious and depressed thinking of what I'm going to be stuck in. So I ended up running off with Nick and eloping.
Love that
we have
for you.
Love that for you, Queen. We have been married for almost 15 years and a kid who's almost 12 years old. We're happy and I know I chose right. He treats me the way I should be treated. He loves me and has never made me feel like anything less. He helped me heal in so many ways and I love him more than anything. But I know I should have broken it off with Mario since I literally just disappeared and had everyone worried out of their minds until I showed up 24 hours later married. He was obviously upset, and I heard later that he was in pretty bad shape after everything happened. But last I heard, he was married, so I guess he recovered. I will accept my verdict. Am I the asshole? That's such
Oh
a
my
good
god.
story.
That's so juicy. I love it. But what I don't love is it sounds like you're in an abusive relationship, like mentally. with this first guy, Mario.
Mario.
Mario. Don't like him. And so, in my opinion, sometimes punishment fits the crime, and double jeopardy cancels out your wrongdoing.
That's it. Like, if you're in, like, let's call it what it is. This was a mentally abusive relationship. If you're in an abusive relationship, you got to do whatever you can to get out of that situation. And this was so savage. And I love it for you that you were like, I'm just going to go get married. Like, queen.
Honestly, that's like the best revenge you can get on someone.
I kind of love that for you. And like, of course, it worries me that like he's married now and like I wonder if he learned his lesson or if he found a girl who was going to be like more compliant. Like it would have been nice to deliver feedback, but sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, especially to get out of a situation like that when you're in so deep.
Yeah.
But to be honest, you're kind of giving icon.
Yeah, you're kind of our queen. Yeah, you're definitely not the asshole here. Like he's an asshole. Let's call it
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah. And I really hope that he is not still doing those kinds of things to other women.
Yeah,
But
me too.
also, good riddance to him and
Congrats to you and Nick.
your happy life, you know? Like, good for you.
Yeah, we love you, our queen, our icon.
Okay, so next one. I'm 42 and I work in a pretty small office once a week. We all order lunch together and everyone chips in. Last week, one of my coworkers who has a higher salary than most of us ordered an expensive meal, way more than the rest of us usually spend. She then suggested we split the cost evenly, which meant I ended up paying way more for her lunch than mine. I spoke up and said it didn't feel fair, and now things have been tense at work. Some coworkers think I'm being petty, but others have quietly told me they agree with me. I didn't want to be the reason for office drama, but I also don't think it's right to subsidize someone else's expensive taste. Am I the asshole for calling it out? Honestly, this is like tale as old as time, you know?
Yeah.
I personally don't think you're the asshole. I think you could do it in like a very nice way, you know? And say like, "Hey, let's just not do it like this anymore. Like it was fine when people were kind of staying in the same price range, but now that it's not, like it just doesn't make sense. So I think we should all just pay for our own." Also, I think it's weird that you guys were not paying for your own individual things anyway.
That's
So,
true. Yeah, that kind of sets you up for failure because I do kind of hate when someone's like being cheap, just being like super like, well, we have to split it evenly and this has to be like, like when we're out, you and I do this well. Like we'll just pay for each other like here and there.
mhm.
And we have similar price ranges, so that makes sense. But I think it is hard when someone all of a sudden is like, no, we're going to like really step it up a notch and that wasn't your choice. But it is tough, especially if they're like over you in seniority in the office.
hmm I also think if it's a one-time occurrence, then that's fine to let it go. But if it's like, and also if it was absorbent, like if it was like, let's say this person ordered like $100 thing and your thing was $20, like,
Yeah.
then that's kind of crazy. So,
But it might be time to just start paying for your own and splitting it
yeah,
up like that. Like maybe you could suggest like, and it sounds like some of the other people in the office will like back you. So you could be like, hey, let's just like all pay for what we ordered instead of just splitting it evenly.
yeah.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, and especially you could do it in a nice way. It doesn't have to be this like big dramatic thing. It doesn't have to be like, this is an unfair, unjust thing, and I take issue. Like it could just be a nice conversation. Like, hey,
Yeah.
so this was working before, but I don't think it is. Let's do it this way. There's this great app called Splitwise.
Yes. I love that. Suggest a solution
Yeah.
instead of just being like, I have a problem with this. Like, give a solution moving forward and then
Hmm.
like focus on the positives of like, oh, it'd be so easy to do this instead of being like, I'm mad that this happened, you know?
Exactly. And come at it with a good attitude about it
Mm-hmm.
too.
Calm. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I think that's super unfair, like just between us.
Yeah. But between us, we'd be bitching about it with you at the water cooler.
Okay, this one hit close to home because it wasn't mine, I promise, but also it's funny. I'm 31 and one of my closest friends recently had a baby shower. I attended, but instead of bringing a traditional gift, I decided to give her something deeply personal. I handmade a baby quilt that took me weeks to finish, thinking it would be more meaningful than something off her registry. At the shower, everyone else gave her practical items, diapers, strollers, things like that, and my gift clearly stood out. She didn't say much about it, but later I overheard her telling someone she wished I had just gotten something useful instead. I felt crushed, and now I'm wondering if I shouldn't have stuck to the registry instead of just trying to do something personal. Am I the asshole for not giving her what she wanted? I have a lot of thoughts here. Okay, I think that's really sweet. And especially if you're someone who maybe doesn't have like a lot of finance, like flexible finances to like go and buy something like kind of expensive off the registry. And I think that's really nice. And as someone who did have a lot of things made for me at the shower, what I noticed is most of those people would make me something. And that would honestly be what stood out to me because that's so deeply personal and it's so just shows so much thought. But those people would usually get something else small from the registry, like 10 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever, to like kind of throw in with it. And I think that could be like a really nice way to balance it. But I do also think that she was being an asshole for like saying that at all because like you should still be grateful that your friend like thought about you enough to make you something, you know?
Yeah, I personally think that made gifts from the heart like that are even more special. And Hannah, at your baby shower, I noticed I felt like you felt and had more of an emotional reaction to those gifts because
Mhm.
they felt like more special to you almost than.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, she sounds kind of like an asshole because, like, when I was opening something and someone had spent like months knitting a baby blanket, like, did I need a baby blanket? No. But was that like so incredibly thoughtful and just like touched me so much that you would like take your time, which is so valuable, to like sit there and make something for me and my baby that we will have for the rest of her life? Like, over like a pack of diapers that, she's going to go through. Like it just it was so touching.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Hannah. I think this girl who's having the baby is an asshole.
Yeah, I very much agree. I think that's really mean. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm someone who's like you should stick to the registry unless you're doing something like that, but then I also do think like just in the future if you don't want to deal with that issue, which again, shouldn't be on you, but like throw in a pack of diapers as well or something, you know.
Yeah,
Even though it's not
or
necessary.
or like some binkies that are on the registry or something. Like,
Yeah, like I just got a pack of pacifiers that were $6 at Target. Like you could get something really small like that, or like a little onesie that's on sale. Like they have $2 onesies at Target that are like so cute, you know? Like, so you don't
yeah.
have to spend a lot of money, but like you could still get something like really small to go with it if this is like a concern of yours in the future. Even though, again,
It
don't think
shouldn't
it's
be.
necessary. Like she's
Yeah.
still the asshole.
Yeah. This is our last one. I'm 32 and my best friend of over 15 years is getting married in a few months. I'm so excited for her and have been helping with planning, giving her emotional support, and even doing little DIY projects for the wedding because she's on a tight budget. When the invites went out, I noticed mine didn't include a plus one. I've been dating my boyfriend for a year, and while it's not super long term, it's serious. We've met each other's families. He's been a big part of my life. When I asked her about it gently, because I know weddings can be stressful, she told me they're trying to save money and are only allowing plus ones for married or engaged couples. I understood at first, But then I found out that some other guests, including her cousin's boyfriend of 3 months, were invited with plus ones. When I brought this up, she brushed it off and said they made a few exceptions for family. I pointed out that I've gone above and beyond to help her, and it hurt that she didn't consider my relationship worth including. She got defensive and said I was making her wedding about me, and now I feel stuck. On the one hand, I know it's her day, her budget, her rules, but on the other hand, it feels like she's dismissing my relationship and taking my help for granted. My boyfriend is also hurt and says he doesn't feel welcomed into my life when things like this happen. Am I the asshole for calling her out and being upset about the lack of plus one, or should I just let it go because it's her wedding?
I think that's really shitty of the bride.
Yeah. I think if you've been with someone for a year, then they should be invited. We did that. I mean, I was very strict on plus ones at my wedding just for space. Like,
Yeah.
our venue didn't allow for over 150 people, so like I had to be like really strict on it. Okay, but to allow the cousin's boyfriend of 3 months and not your boyfriend of a year, I think is crazy.
I think that's crazy too. The way that we did it at our wedding was like there were a couple exceptions, but for the most part, like we didn't really care how long you'd been together. But if we'd like met your significant other, if they were kind of like a part of our lives too, then we would definitely include them, even if they were like a newer relationship or you weren't engaged or married or whatever. But I think it could be hard if like the bride has never even met your boyfriend, which it doesn't sound like that's the case here.
Yeah. And I get mentioning something about it, but I also don't think it's worth like not going to the wedding for. And you have to also be mindful that like maybe it's like a space thing, but I do think with the cousin's boyfriend, that's where I take issue. Like,
That's where I take issue.
because like if it's a space thing, like I get it. Like for instance, my wedding venue only let us have 150 people, so there was some people plus ones that like I couldn't, and that was like Matt and I's one of our biggest things. We're like, dang it. And as people were saying that they couldn't go, we're like, great, tell so and so that their plus one can
Yeah.
come. Like that's what we were doing. So if I were, I mean, and I wish I could just tell this bride because there's a couple of plus ones that I really wanted to come, and in hindsight, I wish we would have just told them to come anyways. Because what you don't know as a bride when you're getting married, and it feels so like every little thing matters, is there's people who say that they're gonna come that will not show up on that day.
Which is crazy.
So let those like little couple of people who are like the plus ones that you're like adamant about saying no to for number purposes, just let them
Mhm.
come because it'll all work out.
Also, it doesn't even sound like this is one of your bridesmaids. So, because like I could see it. I remember one of my bridesmaids asked me, she had started seeing her ex again, and it was kind of like a ship thing. And she was like, "Oh, we just started seeing each other again. Can I bring him?" And I was like, "No," because I was like, "You guys just broke up. It was messy. Now you're like weirdly back together, and you're a bridesmaid, so you kind of need to be focused on me." But like this person isn't even one of the bridesmaids. So I'm like, okay, let her have someone at the wedding. Like, you probably know her boyfriend. He's serious with her. Like, you're going to let boohoo randos come, but not, that's just kind of mean. I don't
No,
like it.
I totally agree. But I also don't think that because it sounds like you're kind of involved though, like you're helping her do stuff. So, and it sounds like this is someone important to you.
Hmm.
And like I said, maybe this bride asked someone who also got married and was like being strict about plus ones because for space reasons, maybe she just doesn't realize that it would be okay. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like a personal thing, but I do think making her bringing to her attention about the cousin plus ones and stuff and your is something that you should call out.
Yeah. I'd be a bit like, this doesn't really make sense to me, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like, can you just explain it to me how that makes more sense than like letting me have a plus one, and I've been like very involved in like helping you with this
Hmm.
wedding.
And maybe you should back off with the helping and just
Yeah.
like if she's not going to do that and do a little less
Hmm.
and just like come as a guest, you know?
I agree. Okay, those were so fun. I'm like, of course, none of you guys are the asshole. Because
It's not your
we
fault.
it's not your fault. I know. I'm like all of these situations I'm like, actually no, you're not an asshole at all. So keep writing in because we'll probably take your side.
I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah, you're not the problem. It's them.
They're the
Perfect.
problem, it's them.
It's them. It is them. Yeah, I hope we were helpful in settling some of your guilt because none of you should feel guilty about any of this.
We're gonna do more episodes like this. So keep your problems juicy and coming.
Yeah, don't keep them to yourselves.
Yeah. Give them to us so we can dissect them.
Yes, I love it. All right, you guys, you know where to find us. We are at Internet Girls Pod, girls with a Z. Also find us Hanley Lifestyle and Tori Sunshine on Instagram, TikTok, literally anywhere. So happy to have you here. Don't forget to rate and review, and we will see you every Monday.
Internet girls are out.